It's November 11th, 2021. Today's Veterans Day in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And on comes Arlington's National Cemetery. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, they did a piece with the people who actually guard it, which I find very interesting. Now, their uniform, because this, to me anyway, represents Washington. I guess the humans say that Washington's like the heart of the the northeast coast at least. But my question is, well, actually, my observation actually is the uniform that they wear, though, is very different than what I see in photos and what I see represented in New York. Now, I don't know how that ties in, if there's some kind of unity between the states and a country. But again, none of this is really, they haven't said any of it, well, in my life frame, they haven't sat me, I don't know, my children, I'd have to double check with them, I'm pretty sure they haven't sat with them either and said, like, this is how your state operates, this is how your country operates, and this is how and what it means to keep yourself safe. Nobody's ever done that. And then this way you participate properly. Nobody's done that. So it's a little confusing. Also, in New York City, like, I thought uniformly, United States of America, or North America anyway, which is the land region, was to speak English. There's other migrants apparently that have been coming in, but I don't understand. In New York City, I wasn't asked, I wasn't involved, it just happened, like somebody made the decision without asking any of the residents. They changed the uniformity of alphabet characters, being the 26 that we use in the English alphabet, within my life frame that they taught me here, that I've seen consistently when I went out to Las Vegas area. Same when I went to Canada, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and all the way up the Northeast coast, and then all the way up Vermont, New Hampshire. They all use the 26 letters in the alphabet. The New York City area, I don't know why, they expanded the scripts, the calligraphy scripts, the artwork of symbology from just 26 English character letters to a whole alternate source of characters of outside states and countrymen outside of the United States. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that got passed. And then, so some have an English translation because they're not necessarily block letter calligraphy. Some of them are more like scripted, but to other people they make sense, but it's very cryptic. And now it's coming on, like the forms home from anything New York City related seems to have like I don't know, there's like now 8 new additions onto just the 28 character alphabet of English. But from like these set countries, I have no idea how that even got in. This is really a frightening event, being like my back is against the wall and I'm in a hole in the wall in New York. I've been cut off from communication other than what comes through here, and there's very little congruency or consistency in visual interpretation and being able to draw logical conclusions between overlays of how do we keep ourselves safe and our children safe and where and what do you report and when do you stay silent, and how does that work? Like, is there somebody really looking over these things, keeping us safe, or is it just a bunch of lawyers that want to get you in trouble? Because that's kind of the other part that it feels like.
You are looking at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery this morning. This Veterans Day marks the 100th anniversary of the day the first unknown soldier was laid to rest there. In 1921, then President Warren G. Harding delivered a famous speech as part of the dedication ceremony. He eulogized the anonymous soldier who died fighting in World War I.
It's amazing, this gentleman, he's a football player, NFL football player or ex-football player, however that works. He knows more about the place of my birth than I was allowed to know. I don't understand that. I mean, I think he was born here as well, but he got an education on the history of where we both arrived. I never got that history. I don't quite understand why that is.
Let's revisit the words of our 29th president recited by the members of the military, the sentinels who guard the tomb, as they reflect on what service and sacrifice means to them.
And this is my part, like what floats your boat. So if your military is what protects your rights and you honor them, they help protect you, and you work in some kind of back and forth way of trying to keep each other safe, if that's theoretically how it's supposed to work. And then there's some entertainment in the center, like sports, music, movies, storytellers, Broadway specialists. Then there's some award shows, there's some concerts, there's some timeshares and travel, right? Okay, so I didn't get any of that. I just know that there's some really great dressed and really serious people that know things and have really serious jobs to do and contacts. I have no idea what they call themselves or how to reach out to them. But I do know that there's a whole lot of money-making opportunity and gambling going on, almost, I feel like monkey in the middle almost. I feel like I'm the monkey in the middle and they keep passing the ball over my head. And I'm like, I see you have the ball, now I see you have the ball, now I see you have the ball, now I see you have the ball. It's like, does anything ever get fixed?
November 11th, 1921.
Mr. Secretary of War, and ladies and gentlemen, we are met today to pay the impersonal tribute.
The name of him whose body lies before us took flight with his imperishable soul.
We know not whence he came, but only that his death marks him with the everlasting glory of an American dying for his country.
On this, it looks almost blackish, and then it looks navy with yellow for me on here. For some reason, the New York crew, and I don't know if this is consistent and appropriate, or if this is what part of the confusion is over. The New York crew, I believe, is wearing some kind of black with like a red piping, but it doesn't even have shoulder straps. It's got a different, like around the edges, there's piping, like a red threaded piping to it. So that's confusing, because if this is our national protector's uniform, the ones in New York are not of the same category. I don't know how that happens, an inconsistency, or if they each have their own region or territory, or how even that works, because again, nobody explained it to the kids so the kids could keep themselves safe and roll forward this sense of nationalism and protectionism for their homeland and for their families in the decades after I arrived, which is 1970s, so decade 7 and onward, there was no, almost there was no set up of the scenery correctly to really install properly and to really give oneself that sense of nationalism, to really stay involved and to know how it works.
Our mission is twofold. One, to maintain a continuous ceremonial guard and watch over the tomb of the unknown soldier. And the second aspect is to ensure that every visitor from this nation, from every nation, witnesses the highest standards and traditions of not only the United States Army, but this nation.
So the first day I changed the guard was roughly 4.5 months ago, and I have honestly never been more scared in my life. As I stood in front of the door, one of my fellow staff sergeants came up to me and said, "The reason you're nervous is because you care, so hold on to that."
We do not know his station in life, because from every station came the patriotic response of the 5 millions.
We do not know the eminence of his birth, but we do know the glory of his death.
All right.
He died for his country, in greater devotion hath no man than this.
He may have been a native or an adopted son. That matters little, because they glorified the same loyalty. They sacrificed alike. I immigrated to the United States when I was 2 years old, and I wanted to give back to my country, and service called me. We call it walking the mat. When I walk the mat, not only am I thinking about my 21 seconds and 21 steps, which is symbolic of the 21 gun salute, and we're always rendering honors to those unknown soldiers. I think of
And now it even looks like in lighting, I wasn't sure, but their blue is a different blue than the last blue. I mean, these are small pickups, but
Think about the unknowns. I think about their sacrifice, their families. It is a lot to carry with us, but it's a responsibility someone has to take. And we take our job very seriously. We have been guarding continuously since midnight to July 1937. On November 11th, 2021, we will be guarding the tomb continuously, 24/7, for 30,814 days.
Snow, sleet, whether it be heavy winds or hail or, God forbid, tornadoes or hurricanes, we're still expected to go out there and do the same job to the same level of proficiency. We still go about conducting the mission the same way because at the end of the day, the mission is still the same.
On the threshold of eternity, many a soldier, I can well believe, wondered how his ebbing blood would color the stream of human life, flowing on after his sacrifice.
Indeed, I revere that citizen whose confidence in the righteousness of his country inspired belief that its triumph is the victory of humanity.
You know, back when the tomb was first constructed, people used to come and, before it was guarded, they would take pieces of the tomb as a bit of closure to take home, as the unknown soldier could be their brother or their father or somebody in their family who never returned from war. And so I like to think about that often. We always say that what we do here is it acts as a continuous funeral service that will be going on as long as any of us are capable to keep doing the job.
Today's ceremonies proclaim that the hero unknown is not unhonored. We gather him to the nation's breast within the shadow of the Capitol, of the towering shaft that honors Washington, the great father, and of the exquisite monument to Lincoln, the martyred savior.
On such an occasion as this, amid such a scene, our thoughts alternate between defenders living and defenders dead.
A grateful republic will be worthy of them both. Our part is to atone for the losses of heroic dead by making a better republic for the living.
I like what the one soldier said when he was told the reason why you're nervous is because you care. Hold on to that.
There's so
You
much.
can feel that. You can
So
feel
much
that.
that's quotable in that, and it all goes back to World War I 100 years ago. In fact, Veterans Day itself, 11th hour of the 11th month, Armistice Day, is supposed to be the war to end all wars. Of course, it was not, and that's why we pay our respects and also express our gratitude on a day like today.
Unknown but not unhonored.
We will never forget. Talking about carrying Matt Allen and Camille Douglas, special shout out to you, the producers that put that together. It's very hard to do that, guys,
Well
viewers
done.
who are listening, to put a piece that beautifully done with no track. Nicely done, guys. Thank you both. Coming up.
I have no idea what putting a piece together with no track means. What does that mean? They say these things on this television like the person sitting as a couch potato trying to learn how to keep themselves and their family safe each day has any clue what that word, that industrial word for TV producer land, means. We don't. I didn't go to theatrics school. I didn't go to production school. I wasn't afforded the opportunity to know how you do playwrights and how to do a production company and how to do television and how to do cinematography and how to do lighting and sound and all that. There was none of that offered or even presented as an option within my life frame. In the same New York that thousands of others have graduated. You have to have some kind of intellectual construct to have a direction. So this is where I am. This is the same symbolic flag. And this, without a post-it note, is where I am daily, where I carry an umbrella, for lack of a better uniformity of consistency shown, while performing some kind of routine in consistency, a routine. So this way I can markedly, or not markedly, but so I can actively document the health concerns that I'm going through between seismic vibrations and something between the dome being the sky, SKY for a layman's term, and the ground being the GROUND. Because there's something going on. I've also witnessed the lightning in this area does not crack at the dome and then hit the land necessarily, showing that there's some kind of vertical relation at the moment. I've caught the lightning darting across the sky without actually having any magnetic pull towards the ground and I know enough about electric that if there's a build up because the dome and the ground are not statically or transferring energy to each other properly, that there can be a build up, and then as you walk, it goes through. Also, the metric on the weight gain, through physics, the plasmatic, interstitial, interstellar, interspatial connection of weight gain was 1997 ... 155. 2000 was around 190, so 190 ... 200. Then in around 2007, so 2007 ... 175, and then it went back up into the after that, and it fluctuates between 180, mostly 185, to like 210, and that's the weight in pounds, POUNDS, that the body at my area in New York is holding in interstitial weight of the plasma and the blood components inside of the blood pipes. That's the weight and the heaviness as I walk around. But I take it for some reason, within a week you can put on 10 pounds, and then to lose those 10 pounds is really, really difficult. But there's the humans talk some sales campaign that the television throws them, but it does not make logical sense, being that there's electric shock coming through the ground into the knee compartment, and sometimes it comes out. I mean, if you look at my fingertips, it shows that I've grown up in an area that's been had an electric shock therapy through the ground, and that it has not been maintenance via the weather and the atmosphere area, and I don't know what that's called. There's specific signs, and the same thing with the hair falling out. It's like living in an open x-ray machine is what it actually feels like. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's November 11th, 2021. That makes this Veterans Day in North America in the state of New York. And I'm still in a hole in the wall in as far as clueless, but trying to look for signs and learn whatever I can to keep myself safe and find whatever authority I need to in order to get myself in a safe position. Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken.